So today in the Johnny Depp versus the Sun libel trial, AH's sister took the stand. And I have to say that the testimony here, it is absolutely amazing. Why? Because it showcases profoundly how much AH and people around her lie. And that's what we're going to look at today. For example, you see this picture here? We showed it just a minute ago. Well, apparently, AH's sister, knowing they were caught in the game, actually said, you know what? That stuff belongs to me. Not that it belongs to Johnny Depp anymore. Not that it also belongs to AH. No, that it belongs to her sister. This thing, it is unwinding, and it is unwinding at lightning speed. So hey there, now briefly, this is our second comic book. A link is in the description, and it's in demand, so you can still pick it up. Now this thing, it has been blackballed by the comics media, comic pros. They call us monsters and on. They think they can keep us out because we talk about stuff like this. But that's okay. You're the one who decides. So check it out, back it if you'd like, and thank you as always. So like I said at the beginning of this, AH's sister took the stand today. And there were a few things that she talked about, including this. Now if you haven't seen this, AH actually produced this picture. This was supposed to be devastating to Johnny Depp too. Despite the fact that you may recognize the cup in this, you may recognize the purse in this, and well, let's just say that they don't belong to Johnny Depp. So this is Sky News coverage, and typically I will not utilize Sky News coverage because they are so biased for AH and against Johnny Depp, but I thought this was interesting. This is the best they can do when going out and shilling for AH. So in that picture, you see certain things, like a tampon applicator and certain lines. Miss Laws, who's representing Johnny Depp, says AH has quote-unquote relied on this photo to establish the bloodbath incident. The photo shows lines of, well, you see what that is, and what looks like a tampon applicator. Now, AH's sister agrees there. It looks like a tampon applicator. So she's asked, what exactly is that utilized for? And this reply, it says plenty to me. To get, well, those lines in your nose. That's what you use to snort those things, isn't it? Miss Laws asks. When I did that, yes, she answers. So when you look at that there, does that sound like Johnny Depp would actually be utilizing that? Or does it sound like a habit that AH's sister and vicariously AH both possess? So as Sky News notes, Johnny Depp's lawyers are not going to have any of this. And Miss Laws puts it to AH's sister that this photo is, quote, a setup. And it definitely looks like a setup. A skull and crossbones box which says, quote, property of JD can also be seen on the table. Now, AH's sister agrees. She can see the lines there and also the box. She agrees that box is there, And, well, it does kind of probably look a little strange. Now, this is where things start to break down and to really, really look bad for AH and her sister because it looks so untruthful here. AH's sister says that the stuff that you're seeing out there and the tampon applicator, those are all hers. They're not Johnny Depp's in this picture. So this thing that's supposed to be proof, that's supposed to put him in the corner, it's exposed here as a flagrant, and I mean flagrant lie. She adds to this, though, Johnny was fond of that trick, referring to use the tampon applicator, which AH's sister says she passed on to Johnny Depp. So, this was my thing. That's all my picture. But you know what? Johnny Depp, he did that too. Yeah, sure. Sure he did. Now, what's funny about Sky News' coverage of this is that normally they would still try to spin this in a way that would be negative to Johnny Depp, but they can't. I mean, look, this is their coverage. Here is the picture in question, showing those lines on a table and a blue tampon applicator. Yeah, that's all showing stuff that you actually said. It's got to belong to Johnny Depp because AH said it. And if this is a lie, well, what else is a lie? Now, another thing that has been a point of contention is this picture here. You can see Keith Richards in the photo. You can see Johnny Depp. You can see AH and on. If you look at AH, they're trying to say, ooh, look at that swelling. Yeah, look at that swelling indeed. So, the lawyer for Johnny Depp is asking AH's sister if she discussed the Keith Richards photo, which shows both AH and AH's sister in this. AH's sister said she did not. AH's sister says that AH's face does not look swollen to me in the photo. She says that she does not remember AH talking about this yesterday and that she might have, quote unquote, stepped out of court, adding, "I'm not glued to this case." Now, Miss Law says that the photo of this was taken on March 23rd, which she said is a day after the alleged painting incident, where she would actually have damage to her. And they tried to say that there was damage here, but now her own sister is disagreeing with that fact. Fun times, huh? Fun time. Now, what's funny in all of this stuff, too, is that AH's sister repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly, tries to go in, tries to about face, and tries to change up narratives where she basically gives her sister an out. She's actually called on this, too, by Johnny Depp's lawyer. Johnny Depp's lawyer says, "You have lied to support your sister." And of course, AH's sister says, "I disagree. I have not lied." It's hilarious, though, watching these liars, and they definitely are liars being called out in court today. During this stuff, for example, AH's sister gives some detailed description of things, but, leaves out a few important details. Here's one, for example. So in a statement, AH's sister says Depp and AH called her the marriage counselor as she lived next door, and that she and Depp called one another brother and sister. She says that she was woken on the night of the 9th of March, 2015, and went into Depp and AH's penthouse, PH5. She says what she saw was she went in and it was extremely shocking. She says she saw Depp throw a can of Red Bull, which hit the nurse Debbie Lloyd. She says she was standing with her back to Depp and at the top of the stairs in between him and AH. The statement reads, "I remember being worried that I was near the edge of the top of the stairs. When he got to the top of the stairs, he was pulling me backwards so he could get to AH. I remember being scared because I was worried that I would fall backwards and fall down the stairs. Johnny reached out to shove me out of the way to lunge at AH, reaching out to try to hit AH, and instead struck me, hitting me in the arm. AH suddenly lurched forward and hit him and said, 'Don't hit my sister.' I didn't see exactly how AH hit him, but it didn't seem especially hard. It was just hard enough for him to lose momentum." Now, you notice the thing in there. First of all, she admits that AH was actually hitting Johnny Depp. That's an important thing in here because, again, she denies that, and she denies this kind of stuff fervently. Another factor in this, it's something I say all the time, is that these people, they lie so much that they forget very important details. And the lawyer points that out here. So you have Johnny Depp's lawyer is putting it to AH's sister that the statement is very detailed, but what is omitted is the most important detail of all. She says that Depp had on a bright green cast on his hand at the time, and there's no mention of that in there. Now, AH's sister says that Depp did have a cast on his hand, and she remembers it had dinosaurs on it. She adds, "I don't think that that's the most important detail." Now, you think about that. What exactly you're supposed to be doing? You have this giant cast on, but you're supposed to be going out there throwing things, abusing people and on. You see a problem with that, don't you? The lies, they are very evident, too. I mean, when you look at stories like this, remember, this is supposed to be right before you have AH going on a talk show, a day before. So she's saying, we are now talking about AH's sister moving out of Penthouse 4. It was after this AH's sister was estranged from the company. Oh, she says, when Johnny kicked me out, I had nowhere to go. I was sleeping on my boss's floor. So, of course, I'm sure that she hates Johnny Depp for that. So in her statement, she talks about going back to the apartment block to pick up some things. Now it read, "I remember seeing that a bed was disheveled. It had a very heavy wood frame, and I noticed it had splintered, and there was a chip in the wood. There was blonde hair and blood stuck in the splinter on the frame. I had not heard about the fight on the December the 15th, 2015 at that point, because AH and I were not speaking at the time, but I was immediately alarmed. I remember imagining what kind of force it would have taken to do that, because it was a heavy and solid frame. See, the problem with these stories isn't just seeing what's on YouTube, going in and reviewing that stuff. It's that we have pictures of the bed frame as well. You can see this, and you can see the wood chips missing here. You can see the broken piece here. Tell it didn't bow because there's no way you could break this with a person. But the thing that is missing in this is all of that description. The hair here. The coloration here, because none of that was there. Oopsie. Oopsie indeed. Now, there are a lot more statements in this, too. We could pick this thing apart, and we probably will with the testimony itself in a live stream. But this is one I want to end on here. So Johnny Depp's lawyer asked what I think is very pertinent. Do you agree that your sister is someone who needs to be calmed down? And AH's sister says yes. If she's upset, we all need to be calmed down. But wait a minute. I thought she didn't have any anger problems. I thought she didn't have any rage problems. But hey, of course, all of that, just like every other lie, yeah, that's one too. But anyway, you tell me what you think about this. I think that this kind of stuff, it blows everything out of the water because, again, it showcases they can't keep up with their lies, and their lies, they're all falling apart in the stands. And if this stuff isn't true, then what is? What is indeed? So to close, I want to mention the comic book again, which is my sponsor, because I don't take any other ones out there. Why? Because I don't want to be like the mainstream media, lockstep or else. And that's exactly what you end up doing if you end up having to bend the knee too much. We also create a great product. Again, check that out. And thank you, as always. I also want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. You make these endeavors possible. Not enough people thank you, and I want to do that. So thank you. Appreciate you being here. And again, we'll do this soon.